What's up, everybody? It's Nick from Who Dat Travel. Now, I've been getting a ton of questions about how to get boarding passes for Rise of Resistance. Now, I'm here to boil down all the questions and give you a concise answer of how to get boarding passes. Stay tuned to find out. So when Disney World opened up Rise of Resistance, they started something new, the virtual queue, or what everybody has been calling the boarding pass system. Now, this boarding pass system has gone through some iterations and some changes of how things are working to try to be more fair. Is it fair? Well, I'm not sure, but that's for another video. So one of your biggest things is getting to the park. Now, if you're taking a lift with one of the minivans, or if you're taking the buses, I would check their schedules. Or if you're taking the Skyliner, again, I would check the schedule. Right now, most of the buses and the Skyliner are not going to get you there in time. So you're probably going to want to take a ride share, or you're probably going to want to drive yourself. With the opening time right now, they've been usually opening at 7 a.m. You don't have to be there at 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. All you have to do is be inside the gates, which means through security, and then through the ticketing area, which means that you need to scan your magic band or your ticket and put your finger in the little fingerprint reader and be green by the time Hollywood Studio opens. Now, once you're in the park, you're going to be corralled within Hollywood Boulevard. So you can move up as far as you want to, up toward the Chinese Theater, and they'll just kind of have you in a holding pattern at that point. Now, for me, I've tried this two different ways. I tried using my cellular service, and I tried using the Disney Wi-Fi. I found that I had much better luck with the Wi-Fi than I did with my cellular service. The reason being is you have a lot of people sitting there with the cellular service, and Disney World's Wi-Fi is actually made to handle that many people. The other part of this, I work in IT. Knowing computer systems, me being on the network is probably the best way to be able to get the highest number and the quickest response. And that's exactly what I did. My first time, I was in group 93. My second time, I was in group 10. For the group 10, I was on Walt Disney World's Wi-Fi. So you've made sure that you're inside the park, and here's the thing, you have to be with your entire party. So that means one person cannot go to the park while the rest of your party is back sleeping. Everyone that is riding has to be into the park with you. Again, that means that they need to scan their magic band or their ticket and use their fingerprint and be physically inside the park. So for us, that was myself and my wife. We had our little man, but we would do rider swap, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. As it got near to opening, I went ahead and opened up my app, and then I went into the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance Access by Boarding Group. So basically, I tapped on the little @, which then opened up the Rise of Resistance page. I went down to where it says My Status and hit that, because join a boarding group when it's not 7 o'clock yet, or open time, is grayed out. So I went to My Status, where I could actually flick down and refresh my screen. Now, I'm using an Android. This may be different with Apple, but I was able to flick down and it would check if their groups were available. In other words, I was pinging the server to see if it was 7 o'clock or if they had opened up the boarding groups. As soon as it was available, which was just about 7 o'clock, it might have been a minute earlier, I was able to hit join a boarding group. Now, during this, they are making an announcement that soon it will be available. As soon as you start hearing that announcement, that means that things are going live. You want to make sure that you're in the app and into the boarding status area. You're able to hit join a boarding group, and then you're going to add in your party, just as you do when you do fast passes. So you're going to click on yourself if you're not already checked, and you're going to check whoever else is with you. For me, that was my wife. At that point, you go through and hit done, and then you're going to be able to get a boarding group for those people. After that, that's it. Hopefully you'll get a good number in the boarding pass. For me, as I said, my second time I did this and was connected to the Wi-Fi, I got group 10, which was fantastic. They didn't actually start boarding until around 10 o'clock that morning, but we were able to get right on. Now, they did give you at that point a 2-hour window to make it to the Rise of Resistance ride. So in case you were in line for something else, you didn't have to just leave that ride to go do Rise of Resistance. However, I am hearing rumblings that they're going to be changing that from a 2-hour window to a 1-hour window. Nothing is official yet, just the rumors. So as I said, we'll go over rider swap a little bit. Now, the people that are doing rider swap, what you're going to have to do is go up as soon as your boarding pass is called within that 2-hour window, and they're going to scan your bands or your tickets just to make sure you are actually within a boarding group. They will then direct you to another set of cast members that will ask who's going to ride first and who's going to ride second. They're going to scan that second band and basically give you a fast pass to enter back whenever in that day. So the first person's going to go ride. They're going to wait in line. Now, my wife was able to, I won't say skip, but be brought ahead occasionally by letting people know that she was a single rider. Basically, she's just filling in a spot that would have been an empty seat. While she was doing that, my little man and I walked around Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land, and when she was done, I was able to go on the ride. It was absolutely fantastic. Really, that's it to getting a boarding pass for Rise of Resistance. The main thing is be in the park by open. Hopefully I've answered all of your questions about Rise of the Resistance boarding passes. If I haven't, please leave a comment